I am Steve Mazan, your surprise guest speaker. I know you've seen it in your program all day. You're thinking, TEDx, San Jose, heart of Silicon Valley. Who's the surprise guest speaker? Steve Jobs? Steve Mazan. I apologize. I was hoping for Steve Jobs too. Surprise. Actually, I am a comedian. Thank you for laughing. I am very honored to be here. They actually asked me not to just make you laugh, but to leave you today with some motivation from everything we've heard today. So I'm going to get to some motivation for you all here. Here we go. Seize the day. Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Do not wait for your ship to come in, swim out to it. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you can dream it, you can do it. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. If man has done his best, what else is there? Success is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. If first you don't succeed, try again. Genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. There's no substitute for hard work. Willing is not enough. We must do, live the life you imagine. Do or do not. There is no try. Action is the foundational key to all success. Discouragement and failure are the two of the surest stepping stones to success. The cure is not to dream less, but to dream more, to dream all the time. If you don't know where you're going, you will wind up somewhere else. Just do it. Some pretty motivational quotes from some pretty inspirational people, including Lombardi, Proust, and the little engine that could. I heard those quotes growing up all the time. When I first heard some, I memorized them. Others I wrote down. But not one of them motivated me for more than a day or two. It was a much less inspirational quote that inspired me from a much less famous person. It was a doctor at UCLA. He said, Steve, you've got inoperable tumors all over your liver. Worst case scenario, you have 5 years to live. Okay, maybe not as elegant as Proust, but pretty effective. Okay, bad news. I had cancer. I was dying. But I got more bad news. You are all dying too. Maybe not from cancer, maybe not as rapidly, but unless someone in here is a Highlander, we're all going to die. If you don't get that reference, I suggest that you spend 2 hours of whatever time it is you have left watching some awesome Sean Connery movies from the 80s. Okay, I'm not a doctor at UCLA. I'm not even a doctor at DeVry. But I've basically just given you all the same diagnosis I was given. Your time is limited. And that's a real diagnosis, so what now? Okay, like most people when they're told they're dying, you're probably going through the 5 stages of grief. The first stage is denial. I'm not dying, I'm healthy. I'm going to get a second opinion from some other comedian. Stage 2 is anger. This is a comedian at the end of the day telling me I'm dying? Can't we get that robot from the first session to come back up and tell a few jokes? Stage 3 is bargaining. Okay, we're all dying. Maybe there's a mortuary that offers a Groupon. Stage 4 is depression. Well, it feels like a depression, but trust the Wall Street Journal. It's really just a mild recession. Stage 5, the final stage, is acceptance. Okay, I'm not immortal. Maybe my only hope is to live long enough that Willard Scott will announce my name on my birthday. Well, we can all hope for that. So what now? But let me tell you what I did when I was told I might only have 5 years to live. First of all, I got a lot of advice. A lot of friends wanted to help. A friend of my wife told me that maybe this news would give me a whole new perspective, that maybe I should look at cancer as a gift. A gift? Cancer is a gift? Well, she is definitely not the person in the office you want drawing your name at the Secret Santa. Cancer? What? Judy, was this you? Did you enough? No, you shouldn't have. Really, you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. I know you wanted to get me something I wouldn't get myself, but this is crazy. This is enough with the cancer at Christmas. Someone else told me that I should live every day like it was my last. That seemed like a good idea, so I decided to do that, to move forward living every day like it was my last one. 2 weeks later, I was bankrupt, in jail, 20 pounds heavier, and my family wouldn't talk to me. That was awful advice. But what I kept coming back to when I had time by myself and no one was giving me advice was my dreams. The dreams I had put aside, the ones that I thought I had plenty of time to reach. But now that I realized I had a finite amount of time, I had to ask myself, what did I want to accomplish? I'm not a worst-case scenario guy, but if I really only had 5 years to live, what was it that I wanted to make sure happened? For me, as a comedian, it was a dream I had since I was 12 years old. It was to perform my comedy on The Late Show with David Letterman. So, let me be clear before I move on. I was a comedian already, okay? I was making a living at it. No day job, full-time comedian, making a good living in comedy clubs, colleges, corporate events around the world. That was a pretty big feat in itself. But 6 years into my comedy career, I kind of stopped chasing the Letterman dream. I was waiting for it to come to me. I was waiting for someday, not chasing it anymore. And that's a very important lesson for all of us mortals here today. Someday isn't on the calendar. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's on there about 4 times a month. No someday. But when it comes to our dreams, it's probably the busiest day of the week is someday, right? So learning that lesson, I just decided that I was going to refocus my attention back on that dream. I was going to pull out all the stops, and I gave myself a goal of getting on Letterman within 1 year. I was going to make someday happen. I started yelling my dream to anyone who would listen. Started calling in every favor I was owed. I found out everyone who worked on the show and begged them to help me get an audition. I even started asking people at comedy clubs after they'd seen me to email the show and beg Dave to book me. And guess what? I didn't make it. My ironically named deadline came and went. But I was so renewed about my dream and my newfound passion for it, I decided to give myself an extension. 1 more year to get on Letterman. Didn't happen. And then another. Nope. Sounds like bad news, right? Well, it was. I would have loved to get on the show in that first year, but something great happened over those years. Those 3 years weren't spent dying. They were spent living. Living a dream. And let me tell you, there is something, if you've ever chased a dream, you know that it lights a fire in your heart. That whether you reach it or not, it warms everyone around you and everything around you. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to keep going. Because that dream is so important. You can't wait for someday to happen. You need to make things go out. Wouldn't the world be a better place if we're all inspired? If the world wasn't full of uninspired people? I know I felt better when I was inspired. But why do people stop chasing their dreams? I don't think people choose to be uninspired. Jeannie, one of the people helping me with my TEDx experience, actually asked me that. She said, Steve, why do you think people stop chasing their dreams? Everyone wants to achieve them. Why do people leave them behind? That was a tough question to answer. I wanted to give her an honest answer, not some cliche response or a motivational line. So I thought about it for a long time. I knew that cancer had motivated me to pick my dream up again, but why did I stop chasing it in the first place? Why does anyone stop? Well, when the answer came to me, it was hard to swallow, let alone spit out and say aloud, but I told her. We're all taught that life is tough. Life's a bitch. Life is hard. But it's not. It's pretty easy, right? It's pretty easy to skate by and go through life, right? We wake up every day, most of us in the world, with a roof over our heads, a big comfy bed under our butts, fridge full of food. Most of us in the world, especially here in America, never have to worry about starvation or homelessness. We have friends and family that will help us out when those things come. Those are the things that made life dangerous 100 years ago. Now we complain if life isn't convenient. This isn't a statement on modern society. This is a statement about motivation. Life is easy. It's easy to skate by. It doesn't even sound that bad. It's called skating. Skating is fun. Who doesn't love skating? I love skating. Who doesn't love skating? German judges. That's who doesn't love skating, but you know what? This time the German judge is right. It's pretty easy to grow up, put your dreams aside, leave your passions behind, take a job that you don't even really mind, raise some kids who will most likely be inspired to do the exact same thing, go from point A to point B to point C until you end up at point Z, where you pass away and there's a line of people waiting to get up and tell everyone else who knew you what a good life you had. Nothing bad about that, nothing wrong with that, but nothing great about it. Nothing inspiring about that. The awful truth is that life is easy. Living, truly living, chasing a dream and truly living is hard. Living is a bitch. Living is tough, especially when you switch it and you ask yourself, what am I dying to do? What is it that puts that fire in my heart? Answering that question isn't the end, though. That's really just the spark. Because once you get that fire burning, you need to feed it. You need to keep reminding yourself of putting new coals in there and reminding yourself every day about that goal. Because we've all taken up a hobby or a goal or a workout that we stop for just a couple days and then we never pick it up again. You need to constantly remind yourself that you're dying and that you're dying to do something. Because the minute you forget, life creeps right back in. And life is easy. I have a friend named Joke. As in, tell me a joke. I think as a comedian, we were destined to be friends. She told me a story about her dad talking to her about love when she was younger. And her dad told her, don't look at love as an object, not a thing, not something to obtain, not a noun. Look at it as a verb. As something to do, something to act on, something to constantly give action to. I love that story. And I think a dream works exactly the same way. It's easy to look at a dream as something way off in the distance, something that might or might not be accomplished, a thing, an object, a goal, a thought that runs through our mind every now and then, a noun. But dream is also a verb. It has to be lived, it has to be done, it has to be furthered, it has to be acted upon, it needs to be chased. It's not just an idea or a result. To dream encompasses every step that it takes to get there. I told you about my dream. I didn't reach my Letterman dream by my deadline or my extended deadline. Nope. It took me 5 years. 5 years of living. Five years of living for that dream. And I was very lucky. My tumors during that time, they didn't grow. I stayed healthy. But I had that wake-up call, and I'm giving you all the same wake-up call. We're all dying. But if you're not chasing your dream, you're already dead. One more thing. 2 weeks ago, right here in San Jose at the CineQuest Film Festival, we premiered a movie about my journey. It was called Dying to Do Letterman. It ended up winning the Audience Award and the Jury Award for Best Documentary at the festival. Everyone who saw the movie and came up and talked to me told me that it inspired them to pick up a dream they had left behind or to chase another one harder. To keep that dream alive, we handed out these buttons. These promotional buttons that say, I'm dying too, and then they had a blank on it. And we would personalize them for everyone that came up. We would write their dream in there, what it was they were dying to do. Today I'm wearing one that says, I'm dying to make people happy I wasn't Steve Jobs. So thanks for going along. Well, my point is, one of the sad things about all these buttons when we were handing them out is a lot of people didn't know what they wanted us to write on the button. They had to think about it. After a couple minutes, I would let most of them off the hook and just put some short-term dream like, I'm dying to have a drink. I'm dying to eat pizza. I'm dying to get some more sex. Apparently, San Jose has a lot of horny, hungry people. But I told those people they had to go home and figure out what it was they were really dying to do. So I'm going to give you all a challenge here. Figure out the answer to that question. What are you dying to do? Don't skate forward any further in your life without answering that question. If you know the answer, fantastic. See me outside. I'll put it on a pin for you. But if you don't know the answer, don't go to sleep tonight without answering that question. Don't wait till someday to answer that question. There's nothing more important in your life than figuring that out. Because when you do figure it out, then, when you go to sleep, you'll sleep like a kid again. Because then you'll be going to sleep not to dream, but with a dream. And waking up with one. Thank you, and sweet dreams. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.